got his 10,000 notifications.
Yeah, Mr. Hill still says videos are going viral.
We're like, you have rooms are helpful, or somebody who's
One of them's
I
gonna
think
go
I
recommended.
have
It's gonna
3
go
views
really
or something.
That's really good.
Yeah, now. You need help,
And one of them was probably mine.
Don't be rude, alright?
Goodbye.
Joel's making
You
millions
lost
now.
good now. No, you said you would.
Looks like a millionaire.
I said what?
35.
No, that's okay.
Yep.
Okay.
Number 1. The country of Israel controls an area known as
Palestine.
the blank, which is the West Bank, the Gaza Strip, and the Golan Heights. Who had that one?
The square.
Lucas had it.
Who has the correct
Palestine.
answer?
Oh.
It's not Palestine.
Oh.
They don't call it the Palestine.
Well, it could be the Palestine.
The Palestinians.
The Palestine.
Nobody got it? It's called the disputed area. Number 2, the Dardanelles, the Bosporus, and the Sea of Marmara separate Europe from Asia. So distance learners, what we're doing is the flip side of this sheet. This was notes and this was a bonus. So I forget if some of you guys did this. I'll have to go look to see if you're getting bonus. You probably did it because I probably didn't say bonus online.
Why does it say 10 points each? Jeez.
Okay.
They sweat. You're what's wrong with like.
Because this would be, you notice it's supposed to be a quiz. 10 questions mean 10 points each. Number 3, the 2 main bridges in the region are separated by the Jordan River Valley.
Oh, and the Po River Valley.
Oh.
So 3 is Jordan.
Was this the bonus?
Obviously.
Number 4,
Wouldn't it be been on the other
the
side?
Dead Sea is so salty that swimmers cannot sink it.
That'd be weird, just like the what?
Yeah.
Just like.
Wait, what is it called?
Yeah.
Just walking on
The
water.
Dead Sea.
What is this?
Dead Sea.
I don't know what
Dead
it is.
Sea.
With me,
Dead Sea.
Dead Sea.
Oh, okay.
Ah.
Stop.
Because I'm with a German.
I was really.
Number 5,
Does that mean you can't
Turkey's
German, but
Black
it's
Sea coast and the Mediterranean coast all the way to Israel have a Mediterranean type of climate. Number 6, a desert climate can be found in central Syria and lands farther south.
like the blank desert. Gobi.
Yes. Number 7, the Syrian Desert
Oh.
covers much of Syria and Jordan. The 2 people that have turned in maps kind of had that.
Who's the other person?
Kind of put it up here more when it's more down here. See this
Well, Google said.
is. Number 8, a desert called the Negev Desert lies in the southern part of Israel.
N-E-G.
N-E-G-E-V, right here.
Yeah, actually, I'm spelled right. You have to erase that extra.
Number 9, unlike some nearby countries, the countries in the eastern Mediterranean do not have large deposits of oil. So countries like Israel doesn't have oil, but what do they have that's important for oil?
Diamonds.
Because oil is pretty useless unless you what?
Refine it.
Unless you refine it.
How do you guys know that?
I don't know.
Tons of
So
oil
Israel has
refineries.
refineries, like Rosemount does.
Woo. Yeah, American.
Who said woohoo?
What's Rosemounts refinery?
I don't know. But,
It's not.
window.
You're flaking.
Yeah, right up the street here, up County Road 42.
Yeah,
What is it?
pollution.
You don't want to live by it though, because it kind of what?
There's a lot of
Smells.
smoke. Steam.
Number 10, the Dead Sea is a source of salt.
So if you just want to get a cup of
No.
salt, I just actually just go down to the water and go
Yeah, there was the other.
That's how it works here.
Well, let him use the sifter.
Yeah, just sift some water real
You got 3 if you got them all right.
Go to the Dead Sea now.
3 points.
Anybody get them all
Not
right?
worth it.
Mom and Dad.
It's definitely not worth that.
If you miss 1, I'll give you 2.
You know, it's filtered.
Anybody get only 1 wrong? If you miss 2 or 3, I'll give you 1. Anybody get 1?
Wait.
Whoa, you get 1 whole point.
1 point?
Yeah.
I feel honored, I feel.
Not 1 correct, that means you got 7 of them right.
Oh, wait, what?
If you got 7 of them right, you get 1 bonus.
7?
That's a lot of work just for 1
So Bethel got 7 of them
It's
right.
not worth it. I'm not waste that time.
Leah?
Liz crapped at Fortnite. I like Tommy. Tommy's pretty trash.
Yeah, cosy grand. Cosy grand.
You can't even 90.
You can't even 180. You can't even 360.
Can't even
Your hand was up,
waterfall.
Arian? For 1?
Well, I mean, you said
Wait,
seven,
it's not
but
even one.
I got eight.
He posted another one in Fortnite videos on the slide.
So
I think
7
it's
or
like
8, you get 1.
3 now.
No, that's true.
I posted another one. I'm not top 3, so every
So I got Nathan, Leah, Ariam, Bethel. Did I miss anybody? And that's, I kinda heard somebody say something like it's not worth it. Like you're saying, you should only do stuff with what?
It's worth
Just
it.
No, you're saying that what's the worth of doing something? You're saying the worth is what?
Getting something out of it.
Getting something.
That's exploitation.
You are getting something, what are you getting?
A bonus
Knowledge.
point.
Knowledge.
And
Well, so does Google.
True false ones then. This is the one I thought we did.
Oh.
Okay, here you go. Number 1, is this true false? The Catholics first established the Kingdom of Israel around 3,000 years ago. Stand up if you think that's true. The Catholics established the Kingdom of Israel around 3,000 years ago. Stand up if you think that's true.
Catholics weren't allowed.
I don't know.
Catholics weren't
I'll
made
be
to
one.
like.
I'll be one.
Okay.
You know what?
No, I'm gonna be
Kim
one.
said it's okay.
Catholics didn't.
It is false because who did?
The
The
Jews.
Jews or Hebrews.
You're dumb.
Number 2, the forced scattering of the Jews by the Romans is known as Zionism. Stand up if that's true.
No, sit down.
No, wait, sit down.
I grabbed
No,
one.
no,
Where's
I'm
the
just,
pen?
I'm
You
just gonna
just
go to
did-
class.
You just did the worksheet. You just turned it in.
Oh, is that worksheet?
No, this is a different one.
Oh.
Has similar questions. Because it's about Israel. That is false. Why?
Because it's diagnosed.
It's called diaspora, not Zionism. Zionism is what?
Coming together.
Bringing them to Israel. Number 3, both Roman and Jewish rulers viewed the teachings of Jesus as dangerous. Stand up if
Roman
you think
and
that's
what?
true.
I don't know what you said.
Oh,
Both Roman and Jewish rulers
There's already been two
viewed the
false.
teachings of Jesus as dangerous.
There's been way too many cheers in a row.
No, it's been many falses.
Wait, yes.
It is true.
You got every single
That's
one
why he
wrong.
was what?
It's gonna be.
That's why he was crucified.
Why don't we like raise our hand if we want to?
No, he's really crucified because of our sins, but. Number 4, the Crusades were a series of invasions launched by Europeans from the 1000s to the 1200s to take Jerusalem from the Arabs. Stand up if you think that's true.
Oh,
Dang, we're screwed.
That is true.
Holy
Ah, no, you lost everything.
What did the Crusades actually do?
Wait, you said it was true and then you said.
You wanna take back the Holy Land?
They were a series of invasions launched by Europeans to take Jerusalem from the Arabs, did they?
Yes.
No. Yeah, they did.
In the end, no. One of the Crusades they did, but in the end, no. But what did they do?
Kill a lot of people.
That's true. What else did they do?
Open up new traders.
Yes, they exposed trade, exposed a lot of
They
these new
exposed
products and
children.
goods back to Europe.
Yeah.
And set up what period in European history?
Bronze
The
Age.
Dark Age.
This period of rebirth.
Stay away
Rebirth.
from my
Okay.
mother.
Operation Rebirth.
Number 5, at the end of World War I, Palestine came under the control of the United States. Stand up if you think that's true.
Palestine.
Nah.
I'm sitting down.
Like the entire.
Okay, it is false because it came under the control of who?
Europe.
Britain.
Great Britain, correct.
Say Europe. Same thing.
Number 6, the state of Israel was created in 1948 by the Jews in Palestine. Stand up if you think that's true.
50 years ago?
No.
I think.
Wait, there's been too many things.
No, this is true.
I'm
Trust
following
me,
Tommy.
I know this question.
She's always correct.
Oh, I don't trust it, so now I'm fucking.
It is true.
Let's
Go!
go!
I stood up and got it.
Get it back.
Get back on this.
Israel's parliament is known as the Knesset.
No.
Stand up if you think that's true.
Oh.
Okay, Sierra stood up.
I remember this question.
That is true.
Yep.
Number 8,
It's
both
gonna be false. 'cause it's
Hebrew
false.
and Arabic are Israel's official languages. Stand up if you think that's true.
Yes, repeat it.
Nah.
Both Hebrew and
Talk shit up.
Arabic
There's only two
are
truths.
Israel's official languages.
Wait, yeah.
That is true.
Wait, yeah.
Okay, it's gotta be false this one. There's 3 truths in a row.
3 twos in a row, it's gotta be false.
Yeah.
So, like,
Everyone sit
Israeli?
down.
Yeah, I can read.
Really?
I'm Brazilian.
Okay, we talked about the disputed areas, or sometimes they're called the occupied areas. Who can tell me what they are?
The little part in Israel and then the bigger one.
Well,
I don't know what I'm talking
The
about.
West Bank,
yeah, that Gaza Strip,
the Gaza Strip,
Tel Aviv.
Horna Heights.
and the Golan Heights, okay?
You just know that?
Which is the biggest?
It's on,
Stand up if you think it's the West Bank.
Oh, no.
Incorrect.
Stand up if you think it's the Gaza Strip.
Oh. Let's go Gaza Strip.
Yep. Tommy stood
Stand up if you think it's the Golan Heights.
Oh, yeah.
Dude, you're trash.
Okay, so here's the Golan Heights, this little area right up here. The Gaza Strip is this little area right here. And the West Bank
It's way
is
bigger.
that big area right there.
So, Tommy, did you get it right?
Don't listen.
I don't listen to you.
Number 10, the control of Jerusalem is an emotional issue because the city contains sites that are holy to Jews, Muslims, and Christians. Stand up if you think that's true.
It's definitely true. Stand up.
No, no.
It's definitely true.
Yes.
dang.
There's 4 truths in a row.
Go Tommy,
Come on.
4 truths.
How? It has to be false.
Stand up.
Turn to page 429.
Tommy got a 1 and 8.
Monster. How could you get it right?
Draw.
What page?
429. I'm pretty sure.
Oh, these girls are 401. What page?
Give me an answer.
Oh.
Tommy.
I didn't assign that.
No.
I didn't assign that.
Number 1 is.
No, it's Tommy named someone something.
So I'm going to answer them. Number 1, the capital of Syria is Damascus. Number 2, Syria's government owns the oil refineries, the electrical plants, railroads, and some factories. Hafiz al-Assad wants to increase the size of Syria's military so they can match Israel's military strength and protect his rule from political enemies. Number 2A, what European country ruled Lebanon? That is France. That's why one of the official languages of Lebanon is what?
French.
French. The history of political divisions between religious groups in Lebanon's government. What is the history? Christian and Muslim politicians shared power after independence, but over time, cooperation broke down and civil war broke out.
Yeah, Civil War.
And in the past years, what has happened throughout the Middle East is something called Arab Spring. I don't know if your book has this in it or not. Arab Spring is called, which is basically an independence movement for people to have more rights in some of these totalitarian countries. Who are the Bedouins? We went over this in class.
Who are the Betterments? Betterments?
When I told you that good joke about the happy people.
I don't get it. I know it was a joke, I remember what I felt about that.
Some people said it was a bad one, but I said it was a good one.
It was great.
Oh, they are the Arab-speaking nomads who mostly live in the deserts of southwest Asia.
Speaking of that, we really went to the southwest.
Go you, Sam.
That was so conversational in your answer, Sam.
What do you mean?
I mean, where'd you get that?
Who provides economic aid to Jordan, all rich Arab nations, and the U.S.? Similarities between these countries of Syria, Lebanon, and Jordan. Most of these countries, and all the countries of, if I said what is the major ethnic group of these countries, you'd say what?
Arabian.
Arab. Okay, Arab. That's why Arabic is the major language in most of them. Lebanon is the closest country out of all of them, other than Cyprus, which we're not really studying, that little island that we have on our maps. It's about 50% Christian, or slightly under 50%. Otherwise, all of the Middle Eastern countries are what religion? Okay, Islam, except for, like I said, Lebanon is about half and half, and Cyprus, and one other country that we just studied.
Israel.
And Israel is Jewish. Otherwise, Islam dominates. Okay, next, the page 433. Who wants to do number one? Tommy.
The Mediterranean.
No.
What?
It's only along the coast that it's that. We're talking Israel, Jordan, and Syria. So Israel is the tiny one, see? Here's Syria, here's Jordan. So Mediterranean is just right here.
One of them is Mediterranean.
Desert.
Okay? So Jordan is desert. Along the coast, yes, it is Mediterranean. Number two. Ari.
Oh, dang it. No. A.
No. Lucas.
D.
D, Europe, yes. Number three. Sam.
B.
B, Israel, correct. Number four. We just went over this one. Sierra.
C.
C, Jerusalem. Number five. We went over this one too. Aria.
A.
A, Arabs. Number six.
I don't know what that is.
Tommy.
B.
B, C's. Number seven. Maggie. A, Bedouins. Based on the map above and your knowledge of the region, write a brief essay explaining how Turkey's location has influenced its history and the country today. That sounds like a good essay for a test, huh?
No.
But we didn't really go for it, so we'll skip over that. Today, we're gonna look at this country. Like this pretty picture?
I can't see it.
I love the color.
That's a country? That's a lot of people.
No, it's the capital of this country.
Turkey.
No, it's not the capital, it's,
Oh, city.
the holiest city.
Maybe. I'll give you 5 seconds to walk over here right now.
Can't see it.
You broke your arm, not your leg.
Afghanistan.
Is it square?
I thought, dang.
There's a lot of people.
I thought he was cute. I don't like to say that.
So it says a rising tide in Mecca. This is the holiest place for who? Muslims, who are followers of Islam. We'll get more into that on
I'm not gonna say
Thursday, on the religions and the differences in the religions and how we look. Today, we're gonna just look at the overall country. One of the things you're gonna see is another article I pulled off from 2015. Where'd this one come from?
2016. You're like 20.
It hasn't changed a whole lot. It says Saudi women challenge archaic marriage rules. What's archaic?
Crazy. Hang on it.
Old, okay?
Okay, you're a nerd.
Wow.
So Saudi Arabia is a country that is dominated by Islam and a strict view, although they are not a theocracy. You know what this word is?
I don't know what it is.
We already know what ocracy means. Means what?
Group of people.
Like democracy?
I know. I'm trying to think.
Politics.
Ocracy means rule by.
Rule by.
Okay. So in a democracy, it's ruled by people. Demo is people.
How it's spelled.
See, when you guys are studying Spanish, basically, a lot of the root words for Spanish are coming from one language,
Latin.
Latin, and that's how you can attack and break words down.
I don't know.
Okay? So, theocracy is actually ruled by a religion. Okay? So if the religious laws are your laws of your country, like Iran, it's a theocracy. Now, because Mecca is the birthplace of Islam, it very much influences the country, but Saudi Arabia is what kind of government?
Socialist.
Totalitarian.
It's a monarchy. They have a king.
Oh, really? Okay.
He often visits Minnesota and all his sons. How come they're visiting Minnesota? Because they like, the what?
Mayo
The Mayo Clinic, right, that's where they get their checkups
Oh.
and surgeries and stuff done.
Why the Minnesota?
That's kind of Minnesota.
Yeah.
Mayo
Surgeries.
Clinic. You don't recommend anyone.
No, they want our cheese curds. We already know what they do.
So, this are basic marriage rules.
Well, you said Syria was-
Again, women's status in Islamic countries is what?
Terrible.
Not very
It's
low.
very low.
You're walking by
Okay.
yourself.
But it is changing. Why is it changing?
Women's rights.
Petition.
Really because of cultural diffusion.
Wait. From which culture?
So let's say the king from Saudi Arabia comes to Minnesota, he's gonna bring what?
His wife.
He's gonna bring his wives. He's got lots of them. I don't know how many.
Oh my God.
Because that's also typical in Islamic culture, to have more than one wife.
We'll get married from
And the wealthier you are, what? The more you're gonna have. It's a sign of status. And that's here, they're trying to break those kind of rules, okay, among the people. So we're gonna watch a couple videos on Saudi Arabia.
What are you looking? The more white you get, the younger they get.
So you might want to go back and pick up that one we skipped, but we're going to read, well, let's skim read this first before we watch the videos. Let's look at the physical geography of the next part of the Middle East we're looking at. So if you look at the map on 437, and you're having to put these on your map project, so.
What?
Yeah.
This is a good map to use for your map project, because all of these places are on your map, most of them. So the sets of mountains that are there, the Tigris and Euphrates River, which you already said was the birthplace of what?
Evil.
Civilization started there. Who were the first people there?
Sumerians.
Sumerians. The Persian Gulf is an important region. Why?
Because there's a
A lot
lot of oil.
of oil there.
Oh, okay.
Some people were looking at Qatar, which is the most misspelled on the maps, because if you're ever playing Scrabble and you don't have the rule that you can't use proper nouns, it's a good word to have, Qatar, because Qatar doesn't use a what?
I'm not playing Scrabble.
Most people misspell Qatar because of our rule. We think if you got a Q, you gotta have a what?
A U.
A U with it.
Monsters, they don't use a U.
And Qatar is spelled Q-A-T-A-R, not Q-U-A-T-A-R. Like the two people that turned in the maps early spelled.
Ooh. Okay, you know what? I don't need to be called out.
You didn't have to say you turned in your map early, are you?
Yep.
Sorry.
Alright, you exposed yourself.
So Bahrain, that tiny little island country, is one of the wealthiest countries. United Arab Emirates, Kuwait. So if you want to go to some of those sites and look at extravagant life, those are the countries you want to look at.
Doesn't-
People have the most expensive cars that are solid gold.
Jeez.
They have Jaguars for pets,
You know, I
things
remember,
like that.
I remember saying no one lives there, and you told me that's the richest like
Mr. Hale,
Yeah.
doesn't the United Arab Emirates have the biggest tower in the world?
Yeah.
Oh, correct.
I think one of our sixth graders went there on vacation, or dad's doing something. So this is just talking about the physical parts. So if you turn to 438, we already know what an oasis is. What you should know is a wadi. So if you turn to 439. Dry stream beds are called wadis. And then fossil water is another term you should be familiar with. Is water that's not being replaced by rainfall. So our wells fill up again, but fossil water, once you use it, it's what? Gone. There's another thing called qanats. I don't think they put that on here. I think they're spelled this way. These are irrigation systems that are under the ground. Why would they put the irrigation systems under the ground?
No one can feel it.
It has to do with climate,
There's water on top.
okay? If you leave water and it's extremely hot outside, what happens?
It gets hot.
It evaporates, goes in the, so it can't be used by your plants. So by putting it underground, it helps prevent the evaporation. Okay, so your assignment is going to be to read this section on Saudi Arabia, 440 to 443. we just skimmed, you can read these other sections more carefully if you'd like, till 449. And we're gonna watch these couple videos on, and we'll talk about the religions next time. We're not gonna go into detail,
Underground irrigation systems.
we're not gonna go into the Central Asian countries of all the stans, the Uzbekistan, the Pakistan, Kyrgyzstan, Turkmenistan, Tajikistan. So, that'll be you can be happy about that.
That one country that's called Stan.
Our next test will be Thursday of next week, which is the map test over your map. So that's one you should be practicing for. And of course, since it's next week, the end of the trimester, that means what?
That's the last project.
No what?
Retest.
No retest.
Oh, God.
Okay.
I'll be okay.
So distance learners, you can watch those videos at home. I don't think I posted the one by Barbie because I just found that one. So you can look that one up if you want to see a better one on